If you've got a 2017 Nissan Titan and you've driven at night or in the early morning at all, you know that these headlights are not great. In this video, I'm going to show you how to get to them so that you can upgrade them with the new Supernova V4s. I'm going to show you what the stock ones look like against the wall, how they measure up, and what the new Supernova V4s can do for you. So let's get started. So I've got the Titan pulled in our shop now, and we've got it on a lift just so that I can raise it up, pull the wheel off, and show you guys exactly how to access these headlight bulbs. Now, if you're working on this at home in your driveway, you don't need to do all this. You can turn the wheel in and you can just unscrew the wheel liner and reach up there just fine. I just want it up in the air so you guys can see it better. So with a Phillips screwdriver or a Phillips drill, remove this screw right here and this screw right here. And then with a pry tool, you could honestly use a flat screwdriver. Anything will work. Get under these clips and just pop the center out. Pull it toward you. There's one more over here. Same thing as the other one, just pop that center out, get underneath it, pull it out. So at this point, with that hardware removed, I usually pull it back as far as I can and just take a bungee cord and put it right through one of the clip holes like that. And just tie it back a little bit. That way you've got room to work without this liner fighting you. And I'm also doing it like this so that I can show you guys exactly what I'm even doing under here. So something like that will work just fine. And as you can see now, I've got all the room in the world to get at these headlight bulbs. So after doing all that wheel liner work, this truck goes from being kind of annoying to deal with to super, super easy. Reach up, grab the headlight bulb, turn it counterclockwise to remove it, and pull it toward you. Here's the connector and the bulb itself. You can press in on the little tab here, just like so. On the high beam bulb down here, you can press in on the tab fairly easily and just take the connector off right away. And then it's as simple as turning the bulb counterclockwise, pulling it toward you and removing it. So today we're going to be installing the brand new Supernova V4 bulbs from Headlight Revolution. Out of all the bulbs we've tested in this truck and this headlight housing, this one performed the best and gave us the best beam pattern. I'm going to show you guys that in a little bit in the studio. We tested everything from lux to beam pattern, spread, flood, making sure we didn't get any weird dark spots. Sometimes you get that with some of the LED bulbs on the market today, and that is not the case with these Supernova V4 bulbs. It's also not uncommon to get strobing, flickering, or a warning message in the dash. And once again, with this bulb, you don't have any of that trouble. And after taking all this apart, the last thing you want to do is jump back in there and pull a bulb out that doesn't work. So, installation is the exact opposite of removal. We're going to pop this in and plug it into the factory wire harness, and everything's going to work just fine. Go ahead and install the bulb the same way the old one came out. It should pop right in and twist just like that. And go ahead and plug the factory wire harness into the bulb connector like so. You'll hear it click real nice. And do the same thing for your high beam. Reach up and install the high beam just like so. Lock it into place and plug it into the factory wiring. Now, if you've come this far, chances are you don't want to leave your factory turn signal in there. You might as well upgrade that too while you're in here. Grab onto this connector, turn it counterclockwise, pop it out, and you'll see your turn signal bulb right there. And this is as simple as removing it. And install your new Armor Series bulb like so. And this just pops right back in. Easy as that. So here's a little before and after of the turn signal bulb itself. On my left hand here, I've got the factory turn signal that came with the truck. In my right hand, I've got the Armor Series bulb from GTR Lighting. This one actually happens to be a switchback, so it's going to be white when the parking light's on, and it'll flash amber when you hit your turn signal. The cool part about that is it makes the whole front of the truck look like a brand new vehicle. It really modernizes the front end of your vehicle. I'm sure you've seen the cars driving around town with the white daytime running lights. They look super sharp. This is how you accomplish that on a truck that didn't come with it. Now, I briefly mentioned it at the truck, but there's one thing we need to do before we can button this whole thing up. We're gonna need to install a resistor. And we've got a long video on exactly how to do these resistors. If you've never touched them before, if you've never done wiring before, I show you how to use a multimeter, a test light, whatever you've got in your garage at home to get these things installed properly. I'm gonna show you real quick how they go in on this truck. If there's any question at all in your mind on how this whole thing comes together, check that video out. We'll post it in the description below, and it'll give you everything you need to know. There are two wires coming off of this resistor, and there are two wires that make up your turn signal circuit. You've got ground and you've got your turn signal wire, turn signal pulses. This resistor has two wires going to it. One wire from the resistor goes to the turn signal wire on your truck. The other wire goes to the ground wire on your truck. It's really simple. You attach this to metal and you're done. That's all there is to it. And what that does is it prevents hyperflash. If you just install an LED bulb into any truck on the road today, you're gonna get a really fast blink as if the bulb itself is burnt out. The truck doesn't know any better, it doesn't know how to handle an LED bulb. With this resistor, none of that happens. Everything works just the way it should. So I've removed the wire protection here, the wire loom, away from the wire itself on the turn signal plug. And the wires we're gonna be working with here are the two outside wires. So we've got a black and we've got a green with black. This is our ground, this is our turn signal wire. I've already tested these. Once again, if you need help testing them, check out the resistor video that we shot. It shows you everything you need to know. I'm gonna strip this back a little bit. Now you could use the T-taps that are included in this kit. We prefer to solder them up here, so I'm just gonna speed through that and show you guys what that looks like. You can see here I've got one wire from the resistor going to the ground wire on the truck and the other wire from the resistor going to the turn signal wire of the truck. I'm gonna solder those up quick, tape them up, and we'll be all set. This is what it should look like before you tape it all together. I like to throw a little final piece of tape across all of this just to tidy it up and keep any loose wiring from dangling wherever it wants, really. So just go ahead and do something like this just to clean it up. Go ahead and install your turn signal back into the slot that it came out of. And now we just need to mount our resistor. Now, one thing to keep in mind is this resistor has to be mounted to metal. And so there's a nice little metal surface up here, nothing really in the way. As long as you use the self-drilling screw for this, you won't have any trouble at all. So go ahead and mount the resistor here and put the wheel liner back together. So now's a great time to go ahead and take the wheel liner, put it back together. I'm gonna throw the wheel back on this truck and we're gonna bring this thing over to our studio, shoot it against the wall and compare the stock footage, the stock bulbs, to the new Supernova V4 bulbs that we just put in. We've got our Titan over in the studio now, and our lux measurement on this particular vehicle was 760 lux. That's your usable light output going down the road. This measurement's at about 20 feet. This beam pattern is actually pretty nice, and so what's good about that for us is if we can just make it a little bit brighter and keep the same beam pattern, we'll be in really good shape. So let's throw the V4s in the low beam and see what we can get out of this truck. So as you can see now, we've got the V4s installed in the low beam, and we originally had 760 lux. And now we've got 1,930. That is well over double in brightness. We've got a nice clean white output. The stock beam pattern stayed the same. It's a beautiful cutoff. This is an awesome upgrade for your truck. Let's look at high beam. So this is actually an amazing high beam from the factory. 2,160 lux stock. That is actually one of the better vehicles we've ever had in the studio. We've got a nice clean output. We've got two distinct hot spots. Let's see once again if we can brighten it up with the V4s and keep that beam pattern. As you can see, the beam pattern is relatively the same. We've still got our hot spots, and we actually once again doubled the brightness from 2160 to 4,222. This is a very sharp, clean white high beam. This is going to shoot way down the road, and if you are looking for better lights in your Titan, this is what you need. As you can tell, that is an insane difference, especially when we're looking at the high beam. The high beam was almost 4 times brighter than what you had in this truck when you bought it. Now, if you need reverse lights or rear turn, rear parking lights, anything like that for these trucks, we've got it on our website at headlightrevolution.com. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't seen our other Nissan Titan videos, or if you've got another truck or car in the family, we've got you covered. Thank you for watching.